I read Shadowman by Garth Ennis and illustrated by Ashley Wood. This story takes place in New Orleans, where there's a dead side, which has two elements to it. There are demons and those who want order. It starts with the demons who previously killed the Shadowman, and now that leaves the need for a new one, which towards the middle of the story is when Zero is the new Shadowman, and here you can see Zero. He comes off as mysterious, but he's not completely a good person. He actually goes ahead and kills his brother in the beginning of the story, which creates this mysteriousness. Towards the middle here, these are the people who hired Zero, but feel it might have been a mistake. After that, we get to know a little bit more about Zero. He goes to order some vodka, his usual, and we see that he has this bear. It's very, very important to him. It talks more about his connection with the bear, where it's like if he has a different look when he's looking at the bear, and he's someone different. I think the importance of the bear is it probably connects to who he was before becoming Zero and the Shadowman. One of my favorite parts of this is where the demons actually kill a police officer. But I found this really comedic because the police officer, unlike how they usually would be, offers them cocaine. And he acts so friendly, but the demons decide to actually just immediately kill him. And after that, the demons, they just talk about it and they have their fun. And I also really, really love the art. The art in this is so saturated and it's so intriguing to look at. Even the moment you start the story, it's very eye-catching. This is it's the 7th page, and it's already so graphic, and it's so interesting to look at. You can see all the sound it's showing us, and there's so many oranges and different shades of purple and pink to draw your attention to the story. I also like the work that this artist does with the color black. Here you can see Zero is trying to look intimidating, and if there was a bunch of bright colors, he wouldn't really look as intimidating, but the work of adding the black on the forehead and in the background and making the front just all black, but then having Zero kind of orangey really gives that feel of he's taking space and he's someone that we don't really know a lot about. I think this is a pretty easy story to jump into the Shadowman and the Dead Side and all of these things. I think for a first-time reader, it's a great intro, and it's very stomachable. I think it's very interesting. It makes you want to read more and learn more about everybody. And the ending ends with demons killing yet another officer, and it leaves you on a cliffhanger. And I think a cliffhanger is the best way to keep a reader to keep reading the next book. And this is really, really well done. I also think it's so interesting how Garth Ennis actually is in connection to the very popular TV series The Boys. And he's an amazing artist, and The Boys actually connects to a comic book that he had made prior to it. I think this is also really interesting how all the text is in different fonts. And it's very intentional, which is so amazing because it really helps separate who's talking and who's a part of the demons and who isn't. For example, here you can tell he's not one of the demons. And the text is very simple, nothing to it. It's just your typical text. But under him, here you can see he's the one who's going to start some violence. Since the text is in red, it's bolded, and it really adds character. Another example is when there's a bunch of sound, there's a lot of coloring and stretching of the text. You can see that here. And I thought the text really stood out to me in this section, where it's slightly bolded, but it's clearly different. And it kind of gives this feel of like, you know, they're talking about Zero, and it's the part where they're gossiping about him and his connection with his bear, and they're clearly not saying good stuff. And it's very intentional how the text is so different, but it's not like dramatic and stretched and bolded and colored and whatever. It's just slightly bolded, and it's to really demonstrate like what they're doing. They're whispering about him. And I think also the drawing of the bear is very, very cool. I think the coloring, it's not too vibrant, and it's not like if the bear is in perfect condition either. The bear is missing an eye. The bear looks well loved, as you can see. And I think it really shows the significance of the bear, and it shows how maybe Zero has gone through so many parts of his life with this bear and how it connects to him. Overall, I think this was a really great story, and I'm excited to see what's next.